Nityananda, I welcome you to my channel. I am Ma Nitya Atma Niranjanananda, a Naishtika Brahmachari of the Nityananda Sannyas Sampradaya. I just wish to speak something about what Swamiji has spoken in the satsang today. The very profound learning that happened as to how the Gurukul children are made to understand what happens as they grow up during the teenage time. See, as physical maturity happens, distinctly there's an outpouring of hormones which is there. But Swamiji took a very beautiful example of a banyan sapling and a banyan tree. If the banyan sapling decided, okay, anyway, at some point of time, my leaves will be eaten by a goat, it may as well happen now. It is committing itself to suicide in that space of immature understanding, and naturally, if the goat eats the sapling, it's going to be dead. The same thing after its maturity, once it grows into a tree and it says, okay, at that point of time, let the goats eat the leaves. It is actually an enrichment that happens, one to the goat as well as to the tree, because with that pruning, more leaves grow in the tree. So this was a very, very beautiful simile as an example used for children in the Gurukul, where he said at the time when physical maturity happens and the hormonal gush happens, it becomes important for them to understand that even though physical maturity has happened at that point of time, there is no social maturity at the level of the mind, or for that matter, a maturity at the level of the consciousness, where they do not yet understand what it is to really know what lust is. So as they grow up and they go into that space of maturity, which Swamiji says is basically the age of 21, when they start understanding and attain that space of maturity, they are able to handle relationships much better. So this is exactly what is taught to the Gurukul children. At our Gurukul, the Nityananda Gurukul, in our Adinam, the Bengaluru Adinam. It is amazing that such a beautiful growth can happen in a child with such understanding. Because what happens when the logic is not given as an understanding or as a reason, naturally that there's a tendency for a violence to happen in the child. And with that vengeance or the violence, without any logical reasoning being given to it, it can turn into a powerlessness when this powerful expression happens. So when this powerlessness combines with the power of expression of lust, it naturally expresses itself only as a powerlessness. But the same thing, if the understanding were to happen, it's not going to be contaminated with the powerlessness. So if you are able to give a reason to the child, and the child is able to see that reason coming in as a very logical explanation to itself, it is not going to have the vengeance or a revenge or a violence inside of it when it expresses lust. So what very beautifully he said is, when you start loving your visionary is a person who can see your life, who can bring vision to your life. If you are able to love the person completely, you accept what the person says as a cognition inside of you. It becomes a cognitive shift, and there is never any resistance to what happens. And when that visionary is your guru, then what exactly it does to you is Gurubhakti. Exactly what happens is, when he says anything for you, because he is able to see you, your life better than you, and he is your visionary of your life, then naturally this, what he calls as Gurubhakti, evolves in us, and whatever he says is a cognitive shift and the cognitions which we easily assimilate inside of us. So there can never be any vengeance, violence or anger inside of us. So this is what was shared with us today, and it gives me great pleasure to share these things with my viewers, and I welcome you to my channel once again in my next episode. Thank you so much, Nityananda.